Hey guys, I'm going to take you through a 30-minute flow today. So all you need is a yoga mat and maybe a couple of blocks if you have them. And we're going to get started. So get yourself into a comfortable seated position. While you're here, you may find that it's uncomfortable on the knees or you rock back through the pelvis. So what can help is just to pop your block under your bum, or even use a book if you haven't got a block. And then what we're doing is pulling the flesh out from underneath the seat bones and sitting up tall. So my spine is nice and stacked and my knees are now sort of below the hips. And then while you're here, I just want you to focus on your breath. So you can place the hands on the knees, or maybe even one on the chest and one onto the lower ribs. And we're just going to listen and take note of the sensation in the body as we breathe. So inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. Notice if you feel the breath more up in the chest, or whether you can feel it a little lower down into the base of the ribs. So what can also help here is to place the fingertips touching on the lower ribs. And as you take a breath in, feel the rib cage moving out laterally. And as you relax on the exhale, feel the rib cage drawing down and sinking in towards the middle. Again, inhale, feel the fingertips separate as the rib cage moves out laterally, and then as you exhale, feel the fingertips drawing back together. So continue with that style of breath. If it feels more comfortable to rest your hands on the legs now, you can. And just focus on that movement of the rib cage rather than the chest expanding or lifting up high. We don't really want to feel too much going on in the chest, so feel the ribs moving out and then sinking back down. On your next breath in and then your next exhale, we're just going to add a slight pause. So after your exhale, I want you to pause maybe for 1 second, maybe for longer if you're more comfortable with it, and then take another breath in again. So this just helps us to stop sort of over breathing and just allows the body and the mind to just slow down a little bit more. So when you're ready, we're going to open the eyes and then maybe take the block away if you've got that under your bum. And then just sitting up nice and tall with the hands onto the knees. We're just going to take the shoulders forwards, circling them forwards. Just a couple of times, and then back, rolling them back. From here, take a breath in and just reach the arms up. Pull the lower belly in tight. We're going to take one hand behind the back, just behind the bum, and then the other hand onto the opposite knee. So we're adding a little twist here. As you take your next exhale, I want you to think about leading and opening with the chest. So just breathe naturally. We inhale to prepare, and then as you exhale, lead and open the chest, pull the navel towards the spine. Gently tuck the chin in. From there, inhale, reach the arms up. And then switch to the other side, exhaling into that twist. Inhaling up. And then switching on the exhale. Just keep moving in your own time, just opening up a little bit of rotation into the trunk of the body. And then come back to the center. From here, we're going to take one hand out to the side, and then the opposite arm is going to reach up and reach across. We bend into this bottom arm, just coming to a lateral side bend. And what we're going to do while we're here is press both the bum cheeks into the mat. But what will want to happen is one side might want to lift up. So really put some pressure down through the butt, reaching up and over with the top arm. And maybe you can get this elbow to the ground, but don't force it. Keep breathing in and out of the nose. It might feel nice to bend the elbow and draw the hand behind the head. From there, reach the arm up, we'll go to the other side. Pressing both seat bones down. Feeling that space we're creating in through the ribs. And then again, reaching up, reach across. And again, inhaling up, exhaling as you reach. And then bringing yourself back up again. We're going to come onto the mat onto all fours. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders, take a little wiggle about. We're going to make some circles through the trunk of the body. So all I want you to do is press out and round through the upper back, move across to one side, then draw the belly down in the middle, move across to the other side, and then round out at the top. So just making some circles. Feels really nice just to open up through the side body as well as go through a bit of flexion and extension in the spine. So again, let's go the other way. And then bring yourself to a neutral position. So we want to grip the mat with the fingers and have a little bit of distance between the fingers, so don't squeeze them together, separate the fingers. And then from there, take a breath in. When you're ready on your exhale, tuck the bum under and start to curl up through the spine, nice and slowly through one segment at a time. Round out the shoulders at the top and gently tuck the chin. Then we're going to reverse it and tilt the pelvis forwards, draw the belly button down towards the mat, coming into a nice deep spine extension. From here, the eyes lift up and we open the chest through the shoulders at the front. I want you to squeeze some tension between the base of the heel of the hand and the front of the knee, like they're pulling towards each other. And then again, we're going to tuck the bum under, curl up through the spine, rounding out, spread the shoulder blades. And again, tilt the pelvis forwards, drawing the belly down, open the chest, tuck the shoulder blades down into the back. And rounding out, pressing the mat away. And tilt forwards. And then release to a neutral position. While we're here, let's just hook the toes, stretch into the soles of the feet, have the fingertips pointing towards the knees, and we're just working to that wrist extension. So you can kind of just wiggle about here. Maybe make some circles if that feels good. And then while you're here, I want you to think still about gripping the ground with the fingers. So we're putting some weight into the fingertips. It's not all into the heel of the hand. And then from there, let's release, unhook the toes, sit onto the tops of the feet, maybe make some circles into the wrists, changing direction. Still focusing on that nasal breath. And from here, let's come down onto all fours, hook the toes. We send the bum to the heels and then lift the hips into a downward dog. But for this first downward dog, let's just keep a nice deep bend into the legs. We're opening up this flexion at the shoulder, keeping a nice flat back. And all I want you to do is wrap the shoulders across the back so that they don't hunch together in the middle. Draw them apart. Think about squeezing the armpits towards each other as you wrap them across the back. With the legs bent, I've got that nice flat back, and now maybe I can start to extend them a bit more or extend one and then the other. But if you find you then compensate by rounding the back, just keep that bend in the legs. So breathe in and out of the nose, walking through the feet if that feels good. Checking in with the calves and the hamstrings. And then here I'm also pinning my lower ribs in, so I'm not flaring them out. I'm going to draw them in. And then it might feel nice from here to make some waves in the spine. So you can continue to just do this if this feels better for you. Otherwise, thinking just like we did in our cat stretch, we're going to start from the base of the spine. So I'm going to go into flexion as I round all the way up to the top and then push back. Rounding again all the way up and then coming into an extension as I push back. Again, round to the top and extend, and just kind of make some waves in the spine. Do what feels good for your body. And then from here, lift the eyes, let's walk the feet to the hands. So we're coming up to the top of the mat. We can use our blocks here for assistance. If you struggle to go into this sort of partial fold, have the hands elevated to make it a little bit easier. And then soften the knees so we're not forcing the legs locked out. If you don't need the blocks, you can take the hands to the shins or fingertips to the mat. And this is our halfway lift. So take a breath in here. And then when you're ready, we're going to fold over the legs. So if you already know you're tight in the back of the legs, I recommend bending the knees even more. Otherwise, hips are high, weight slightly comes forward in the foot. And we start to compress the stomach to the thighs and tuck the chin. Obviously, if this feels too much, bend the knees. And then if you want more, try and lift the hips. Nice and slowly, let's curl up the spine. Standing up at the top of the mat into your mountain pose. Okay, so palms are together here. Let's have feet together and then spread the toes as much as you can. We're going to reach the arms up and then fold on the way down, bending the legs again if you need to bend the legs. Lift the eyes up, place the hands shoulder width onto the mat, and now let's step into plank. And in our plank position, the shoulders are above the wrists, the feet are together. We're going to squeeze the bum and tuck it under and round out through the shoulders like we did in our cat stretch. The fingers are gripping the ground, so there's a slight bend at my finger knuckles. From here, lower your knees to the mat for this first one. And I want you to stick with this variation throughout if this is as far as you feel like you can take this position, okay? So we're going to lower from this high position in plank to a low position. So all I'm going to do from here is let the shoulders lead, tuck the bum and bend the elbows as I take my chest down to the ground. Now I'm going to go onto the forearms, and with the forearms shoulder width, palms down, press through the forearms, press through the tops of the legs, and then think about lengthening the spine as I open the chest, not trying to arch the back. And then from there, let's lower the body down all the way to the ground. The hands come either side of the shoulders. We take a breath in. As you exhale, pin the legs together, squeeze the bum, and just lift the chest. Feeling the glutes and the back working as we lift the chest up. Pin the shoulder blades down into the back, so you feel those mid and upper back muscles working as well. And then gently lower down. From here, place the hands shoulder width, press back onto the knees, hook the toes, and lift the hips back to downward dog. And again, we've got feet hip width, hands shoulder width. Pinning the lower ribs in, breathing in and out of the nose. Lift the eyes, and you can step or you can choose to jump now. Landing soft, coming to the top of the mat. We come up to our halfway lift, which can be on blocks again. And then as you exhale, fold, bend the legs as much as you need to. Tuck the chin, making sure we're not rounding like this. We want to keep the pelvis slightly tilting forwards, taking the belly to the thighs. So we're adding that compression in on top of the thigh muscles. And then from here, curl up. Palms together, reach up. Fold on the way down. Lift the eyes, hands come to the mat into plank. Pull the belly in tight. So this time you can make this position from high plank to low plank more challenging by leading with the shoulders and keeping a hollow body as you bend the arms. Make sure the elbows stay above the wrists. And then from here, we can transition to an upward dog. So now I'm engaging the tops of my legs, extending the arms, really strengthening the wrists, the shoulders, opening the front of the hips. Keep breathing in and out of the nose and let the eyes look forwards. And then from here, we're going to lie all the way down again. Interlace the hands behind the back. Take a breath in, and this time press the palms together, pin the legs together, but raise the chest and the legs off the ground. Coming into a more intense back bend here. If you need to go back to the first variation, then please do. Engaging those back muscles, squeezing the bum, and then gently inhale, lying back down to the mat. Place the hands by the shoulders, press back, hook the toes, and come back to your downward dog. Walking through the feet, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Lift the eyes, step or jump to the top of the mat. Come up to our halfway lift. And then fold on the exhale again, bending the legs, compressing the stomach to the thighs, tucking the chin. And then just make sure the shoulder blades are down in the back here, not hunching up around the ears. Curl up the spine nice and slow. Palms come together, reach up. And then fold on the way down. Lifting the eyes, placing the hands shoulder width to the mat, step to your plank. Pull the belly in, nice and tight. Squeeze the bum, press the ground away. Let the shoulders lead, we lower down, nice and controlled, all the way down to the floor. Go onto the tops of the feet and push through to an upward dog. Squeeze the bum, engage the tops of the thighs, making sure we don't hunch the shoulders, make some space. And then let's lie all the way down, interlace the hands behind the back, make a fist, take a breath in, exhale and lift. Breathe in and out of the nose, squeeze the legs together, squeeze the bum, the feet are side by side. And then inhale, release, place the hands by the shoulders. Press back, lift the hips, downward dog. Keep walking through the feet. On your next breath in, lift the eyes, step or jump. Come up to a halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Curl up the spine nice and slow, resting in mountain pose at the top of the mat. If you need to have a drink here, just have a little sip of water. So standing tall, feet are together, spread the toes. From here we're coming into chair pose. So we want to obviously have the feet together here, inhale the arms back, and then as you exhale, sit down, swoop the arms forwards. So in this position, what I want is my knees together, my little fingers turn towards each other to help my shoulders sit down into the back. Pull the lower belly in, and then see if you can wiggle your toes so we know the weight is then centered to the back of the foot. Lift the eyes up, sit a bit deeper, make the legs work a bit harder, and just stay there for a couple more breaths. On your next breath in, the left leg steps back, the arms reach up. If your shoulders are tight, take them wide. If you're a bit more mobile, bring the palms together. And then from here, we're tucking the bum under, so we're opening this hip and the front knee is above the ankle, rather than extending the back leg and arching into the back. So slightly bend it, tuck the bum. Nice deep bend in that front knee, reaching the arms up, pinning the lower ribs in, feeling that hip opening. Breathe in and out of the nose. And then inhale, the hands come down shoulder width. We're going to press through the hands, lift the front leg up into a three-legged dog. This top leg, rather than kicking it super high, just roll the thigh inward and square the hips off, keep them level. You can stay here and feel a lot more going on in the back of this leg, or you can go higher, bend the knee, and then open the hip at the top. And if you want to go further, we go onto the fingertips of the right hand. Keep traveling over, making your way into Wild Thing. I'm pressing through both legs, bridging the hips up. The bottom arm is nice and active, and the top arm just reaches over, opening up through the side of the body. And now I can go all the way back over into my three-legged dog. From here, lower the top foot down to the mat. Walk through the feet, lift the eyes, step or jump. Come up to a halfway lift. And then fold on the exhale, bend the legs as much as you need to. Curl up the spine, standing nice and tall in mountain pose. And we're going to do that again onto the other side. So we inhale the arms back, exhale, sit down, chair pose, pull the belly in tight, wiggle the toes, making sure you don't feel any discomfort in the lower back. If you are, you're probably tilting the pelvis forwards and sticking the bum out. So tuck the lower belly in and flatten out that lower back. From here, take the right foot back. So we're now into that high lunge position. Tuck the bum under, pressing the back hip forward. So your right hip is being pushed ahead. You'll feel that more into the front of the hip now. And then the front knee tracks above the ankle. Again, if the shoulders are tight, go for a wider position with the hands. Otherwise, bring the palms together. And then from here, inhale, the hands come down to the ground. We shift the front leg up, internally rotating that top thigh, because now we're keeping the pelvis nice and level. We're really working into the standing leg through the hamstrings and the calves. Obviously, don't worry if the heel doesn't touch the ground. Wrap those shoulders. Then if you want more, lift it higher, bend the leg, open the hip, and go onto the fingertips of the left hand. Keep breathing. If you want to go more, finding the ground, press through both legs as you bridge the hips up, and then the top arm reaches over. Look towards the fingertips, grounding through both legs. And then let's come all the way back, and then lower the foot down to the mat, walk through the feet. Lift the eyes, step or jump. Come up to a halfway lift, and then fold on the exhale. Curl up the spine, nice and tall, and rest into your mountain pose. Shoulders relax down into the back. Breathe in and out of the nose. So from here, we're going to take our left foot back. So we're standing side on the mat into a wide stance. And then from here, bring the hands to the crease of the hips. Let's lift the chest up, then lead with it forwards, slightly soften the knees, start to hinge forward into a fold. My big toes are slightly turned in here, and the weight shifts forwards into the toes rather than back into the heels. Rather than driving the bum and the hips back, let the weight shift forward. Maybe you come all the way down, but if this isn't accessible yet, use your blocks again, just out in front of the body for a bit of support. If the hands are on the ground, you're welcome to start to walk them back through behind you more. Or maybe you want to hook the peace fingers around the big toes, pull a bit of tension down with the arms as we hinge. Again, just softening those knees, not locking them back. Nice and slowly, lift the eyes up, bring the hands to the hips, bend the legs and push through the legs to stand up. So from here, we're just going to take the right toes forwards to the front of the mat and the left toes slightly turned in. Square the hips to the front of the mat, bend the front leg and reach the arms up. Into warrior one, I'm engaging these back thigh muscles, making sure that I don't get any discomfort in the knee, okay? If you feel anything funky going on in the knee, just go onto the ball of your foot. So squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, engage the quadriceps in the back leg. Nice deep bend in the front leg and press into the ground. From here, we're now going to open the arms out into warrior two. So really similar stance again. The back foot is turned to the outer edge of the mat now, and the hands are in line with the shoulders. The front knee is above the ankle. And now I want you to squeeze the feet towards each other, like they're pulling together, and you feel the inner thigh muscles really switch on. Keep breathing in and out of the nose. Keep squeezing those legs together, keep pulling the belly in and squeezing the bum. From here, flip your front palm, and then from there we're going to take the back hand to the back leg and the top arm is going to reach all the way up and over into a reverse warrior. The front knee is still bent, and I'm coming into a bit more of a lateral side bend as I keep that knee bent. The back hand can travel down the leg, it can come behind you and find the crease of the front hip, or you can hold your hands together behind your back and make a bind. Do what feels good for you. On your next inhale, open the arms up. We're going to take them back to the hips and turn that foot in. Take a breath in when you're ready, hinge and fold. So same as we did last time, use the blocks for support. Make sure we keep the back nice and flat and we don't round for the ground. Compress the belly to the thighs, let the weight shift forward in the feet. Again, you can hook your peace fingers around your big toes. And then from here, bring the hands to the hips, bend the legs, push through the legs to stand up at the top. We'll go same on the other side. So we're going to turn our left foot forwards and the back foot slightly in, like 45 degrees. Square the hips to the front of the mat, bend the front leg, pin the lower ribs in and down, and engage these thigh muscles. Reach the arms up. Notice where the weight in the back foot is. So if the weight kind of collapses inwards, try and work it to the back outer edge of the foot. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, squeeze the bum. And now let's open the arms out into our warrior two. So if you want to make this harder, we can use more of the length of the mat, but we need to make sure we're active in the legs rather than sinking into it, okay? So engage the thigh muscles, bring the hands in line with the shoulders, and now again, squeeze the feet towards each other. Feel those inner thighs working. Breathing in and out of the nose. Flip your front palm, reaching it up and back. The back hand again travels down the leg or finds the crease of the front hip, or you can interlace the fingers behind your back. From here, release the arms and then bring the hands to the crease of the hips. From here, we're just going to add one more fold, so hinge forwards, folding down to the ground. Slight turn in with those toes again. Maybe bringing the hands to the ground, making more of a tripod position. And if you find your head does touch the ground now, like mine does there, just go for a slightly narrower stance. And then hinge over and fold deeply. Maybe walk the hands back through. From here, lift the eyes up, walk the hands around to your front foot and step to plank. From plank, let the shoulders lead, lower down to low plank and then come through to an upward dog. From here, lift the hips, downward dog. And then from there, let's bring the thumbs to touch. You're going to step or jump the feet outside the hands. So you're now in a squat. So we're sat in a squat position. Slight turn out with the toes. Lift the chest, press the knees open. You can bring knuckles to touch or palms together. And you can stay sitting here or give the knee a little push out one side and then the same the other side, opening into the hips. From here, let's add a twist. So sitting up tall, you can take one hand onto the ankle, and by all means, on this one, if you need to, you can kneel down one side to make this rotation feel a bit easier if sitting in a squat feels super tough at the minute. And we're just gonna lead back with the elbow and then come back to the center. Same side again, lead back with the elbow, maybe extend the arm. And then bring it back. And again, reaching it back. Holding it there, pull the belly in tight, press the knees open. And bring it back to the center and then switch. Draw the elbow back. And bring it forwards and then the elbow back, maybe the arm. And then bring it in and take it back. Once more, inhale forwards and then exhale, twist. And then bring it forwards. From here, let's come into crow pose. So we're in a squat position. We now can place the hands shoulder width and spread the fingers wide. That's going to be our base of support. So I want you to think about gripping the ground with the fingertips, so we're not pushing all the weight down into the palm or into the heel of the hand. And then from there, we're going to lift the bum up as high as we can. I want you to collect the legs with the triceps. Anywhere above the elbow is fine. So I'm going to bend the arms, collect the legs and get my elbow directly above my wrist. Now from there, press into the mat as you start to lift the feet up. It might be one foot, it might be both. Push hard into the ground, lift the eyes forward and try and pull the feet towards the bum. Now I'm going to round out through the upper back like I did on my cat stretch. And then from there, bring yourself back down again. We'll do one more, and on the next one, have a little go going into headstand. If you need to have a cushion or something, then obviously just be careful. If you need to do it by a wall, that's fine. So we'll do it once more. Place the hands shoulder width, spread the fingers, lift the hips high. Let's collect the legs with the arms, so bend the elbows. Don't try and go straight into a straight arm if you've not done this before. Collect the legs, get the elbow above the wrist, pull the feet up. Now from there, if you bend the arms a bit more, tuck the chin, take the top of the head to the ground. And now this might be as far as you go, that's fine. Lift the knees, pull the belly in tight, and press through the hands as you lift the legs up. Breathe in and out of the nose, making sure that all of that weight isn't just going through your head. Keep breathing, and then nice and slowly, let's draw the knees back in, nice and tight to the body. Find the backs of the arms, press through the hands, lift the head, and then bring yourself back into your squat. And then from here, all we're going to do is sit down and then lie down onto the mat so we can come into a couple of bridges. So nice and slowly, lower the body down, take the shoulders down onto the ground, bring the shoulders down into the back. And then from here, we want to think first of all about tilting the pelvis towards us, or thinking about pressing the lower back down in the ground so the pelvis does tilt towards us, okay? The feet are hip width, and my hips, knees and ankles are in a straight line. So I want you to avoid any flaring out with the knees here. And now from this position, we're going to slowly lift the hips, tucking the bum under rather than lifting the hips and arching in the lower back. So lower back presses down, we lift the hips, squeezing the bum. And this is our bridge pose. We're going to actively push the feet really, really firmly into the mat. So press them down. You'll feel the inner thighs, the hamstrings and the glutes all working, rather than just hanging out here with no muscle activation. Really press into the ground. You can stay here, you can raise the arms overhead, or you can place the hands by the shoulders, elbows pointing to the ceiling, making sure the fingers spread and we've got a full connection with the whole hand onto the mat. And if you want to go all the way up, we start to push nice and slow, taking the head through the shoulders, coming into our wheel pose, pressing both feet into the ground still so the leg muscles are active, not flaring the knees open. Bring the chin into the chest and breathe. And then gently lower to the tops of the shoulders, lower down through the spine, lower back connects to the ground, and release the pelvis to neutral. And we'll just do that once more. So if you're comfortable going in on your own, then go for it and try and stay there for 5 to 10 breaths. When you're ready, take a breath in through the nose, and then from here, press the lower back into the ground, pelvis tilts towards you. And now start to peel the hips up. We're tucking the bum under, engaging the glutes, pressing the feet firmly into the ground, and making sure those knees are tracking the hips, so we'll feel the inner thighs and the hamstrings engage. Stay here or place the hands by the shoulders. Take a breath in, and when you're ready, slowly start to push. Take the head through, pressing through the arms. You can go straight legs like I've done there, or you can keep the legs bent. Play around with positions. When you're ready, bring yourself out. Just make sure there's absolutely no pain. Lower the back to the ground, and then from here, we can bring the knees into the chest. Give ourselves a bit of a hug. And then you can stay here. We'll go into happy baby. So happy baby, we can hold either the outer edges of the feet. If you can't reach the outer edges of the feet, rather than rounding through the back, just take hold of lower down the leg. We're going to breathe in, and then when you're ready, draw the knees down towards the armpits, keep the feet flexed. So if I've got the feet, I'm going to put a bit of tension with the hands, draw the knees towards the armpits, and then press my tailbone down into the ground. So I'm pushing the lower back down into the mat. And then you can stay in this static position, maybe close the eyes, or you can rock side to side. like a happy baby. So just a couple more breaths here. And then from there, if you want a bit more, we can take the legs overhead, flexing through the spine, making sure the weight stays in the shoulders, not on the neck. And just taking gentle inhales and exhales. So when you're compressed over like this, it will feel a bit more challenging to breathe. So don't then try and take bigger breaths. Just take gentle breaths. Nice and slowly from here, start to lie down. And then bring yourself into relaxation. So you can have the feet together and the knees open, shoulders into the back, palms up. Or maybe you want the legs extended out. And wherever you are, just try and find a sense of calm. Let your body relax. Enjoy the effortlessness of just being able to have a little lie down. Bring your awareness to your breath like we did at the beginning. Just taking gentle inhales and exhales in and out of the nose. So you can stay here for as long as you like. And just let your body and your mind relax. Focus on your breathing.